you have Citizen Vigilante coming in 2026 with Armie Hammer, and I would like to know all about this film and just get your take on it directly.
Yeah, June 19th comes out in the US and Canada, and I felt like Armie Hammer was canceled injustice. I felt like after 3-4 years, and then I saw him in a talk show, he talked about everything, and I felt, okay, so he's young. He's full of energy. He's a good actor, right? So you feel like, how can that guy, how they can really think that he's not allowed to ever work again? That's insane. And I needed a strong guy, like a young Mel Gibson, young Bruce Willis, whatever. And he is that. He was 37 when we shot the film. And I think, so I contacted him with Instagram because he had no agent. Everybody dumped him. And I said, look, I believe you can play this guy. And it's this kind of Equalizer, John Wick, kind of vigilante, but also a little falling down, Death Wish, this kind of where you will be a character who, in a way, incorrect justice, but you're also kind of shady. So it's like, I told him, like, you're not a superhero. You're more this kind of where the audience say, oh, is he going too far? Is that like, oh, that's harsh, right? So, and funny enough, tomorrow we have another screening with the German rating board because they said that movie should not allowed to play. They think it's too violent, and self-justice or this kind of stuff is basically, they say it could instrument, like people would try to do what he's doing, So, and that's proven wrong. I did all my life movies about amok runs, from Heart of America to my German movie Run Amok to Rampage. And I mean, the idea that video games or violent movies getting blamed for actually people doing violent acts, that's a great idea to blame somebody, but it's not true. It's like you will not find one guy who shot whatever, from Charlie Kirk to massacres, whatever. These people do this not because maybe they played video games, maybe they loved horror movies, but that's not the reason they did it. They always have the real reason they do it. And it could be like a deep depression. It could be that they're getting completely outed from the society. They feel lonely. It's a totally different thing. Has nothing to do with what they play. So, and tomorrow we have a second screening where I have my attorney going to, and he will say, look, guys, you are the persons who try to undermine the freedom of art, the freedom of speech, the freedom of opinion. So, and that's not your job, especially now where everybody can watch on social media, like live killings, that's the whole rating system is kind of absurd.
Mm-hmm.
What they had maybe 20 years ago, where you could, if you say NC-17, then you could enforce it also. Now you cannot enforce it. If they disallow the movie will be still online. They cannot really do anything,
Interesting. No, that does make sense.